There we go. I've been talking to you for a while. Your name is?
Wes McLean.
And you're the MLA for?
Victoria-Tobique.
And something bad happened there last spring. Was it last spring?
That's right, March 23rd.
How many homes in Perth-Andover? How many homes were destroyed?
Over 80 homes. This was the worst flood we ever had. And nobody thought the waters would reach as high as they did. But I'll never forget that morning, because the water was high that morning, and I thought to myself, well, it may breach the banks in some parts, but hope springs eternal, and you don't think initially that it's going to have the impact that it did. But by noon, everything had changed. So certainly it was a pretty horrific day for the community.
What's the population there?
About 1,800 right in Perth-Andover alone.
1,800. Okay, and your riding is, what's your riding again?
Victoria-Tobique.
So you hear a lot of people upset, and you're still you're moving a few homes, and some people are still whining, complaining.
Well, people have been through a lot, and every concern they bring forth is legitimate. You have to look at what they've gone through. Homes uprooted, their lives are uprooted, businesses in many cases destroyed, homes destroyed. So the kind of impact that the flood had on people justifies their response. But people in our community remain pretty resilient. I would say there's kind of a compassion and a generosity that underscores our community, and people right after the flood, they got together, they got working, they got repairing homes, repairing businesses, helping each other. We had volunteers from the community. We had them from outside the community, even from the Midwestern United States.
Really?
We had people come in to help on home reconstruction. So in the midst of something like that, you do see the best of people.
Now, you all see the bad side. This is a vlog. I could talk like this. When you first got word there would be changes in the hospital, you must have said, oh shit.
Well, obviously, nobody anticipated the kind of flooding we got on the 23rd of March. The hospital was flood-proofed in the mid to late 1990s, but 1997 the newer section opened up. And while that section... Hold it.
So there was a new section that opened up in 1997?
That's correct.
Why would they open up a new section in the flood zone?
Well, because this was further up, right?
Okay.
And we based that upon the high water mark.
I've never been there, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
So the new section was built there. And while that section was not flooded this time around, medical gas supply lines were impacted, and the old section of the hospital, which was in the flood zone, that was flooded. So it raises a lot of questions. I've been working with Minister Fleming since the day one he became health minister to try to find a way. How can we make sure we keep a hospital in Perth-Andover? That's the objective. And for me, what an objective has to be is I want to see the hospital operating even when we're in the midst of a flood. Don't forget, when this happens, when a flood happens, Hotel Dieu was shut down. Mm-hmm. So we have to look at options. How can we make sure there's a continuity of service even during the midst of a flood or any other kind of calamity?
I blogged him a couple of months ago. What did he say? Who's the mayor again?
Mayor Terry Ritchie.
And what did he say? He's going to quit?
Well, Mayor Ritchie's been heavily involved in this stuff, and he advocates for the community in the way that he feels is most appropriate.
Nice guy?
I have great guy. I have good respect for the mayor and good respect for the whole council.
So did he quit? Is he still there?
No, Mayor Ritchie is still there.
So you have a good communication with him?
I work well with the council. I'm always available to meet with Mayor Ritchie, any councillor. Everybody's, there may be disagreements along the way, but one thing we can't forget is everybody is pretty much there for the same reason, and it's to try and better their community.
If you would have had, hindsight's terrible, but what could have been done differently if it happened now?
If the flooding happened again? Yeah. I think what we'll see is, of course I don't want to see a flood like this again, but we can't pretend that it'll never happen. No. We're taking measures for better understanding of river flows, things like that. And you look at the relocation program that we're doing right now. The bulk of homes will be moved next year when we have another construction season. But every home that's moved out of the flood zone is one less home that can be impacted by flooding. So that is a preventative measure right there. So we have to keep working at things like that to make sure that people don't get impacted like they did this time.
I'm sure next spring I'll get an update from you.
By all means.
Listen, for what it's worth, I've been hanging around here. You're a good guy.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Wes.